We are First Line Paranormal, and we're here to investigate Chapel of Rest.
Located in the Patterson School Historic District, both the Chapel of Rest and its cemetery are listed on the National Registry of Historic Places. The chapel is a restored 100-year-old Gothic structure overlooking the Yadkin River. In 1887, Samuel Ledgerward Patterson deeded the plot of land that surrounded his own family graveyard to the Episcopal deities of Western North Carolina so that the graves would be preserved. He also gave land adjacent to the graveyard to the deities so that a school could be built. The Chapel of Rest was built that same year. One of the most impressive graves in the cemetery is that of Confederate General Collett Leaventhorpe. He was a British officer who had come to America for extended holiday. He found his way to Asheville, North Carolina, where he met his wife, Louisiana Bryan. She was the daughter of General Edmund Bryan of Rutherfordton, North Carolina. In 1849, Leaventhorpe was granted U.S. citizenship. When the South succeeded, he offered his military experience to North Carolina. He was the only North Carolina Confederacy's English-born soldier to hold the rank of brigadier general. The original chapel burned to the ground in 1916. It was reconstructed under the direction of the Patterson School's headmaster, Reverend Hugh A. Dobbin. In 2002, the chapel was fully restored to its original state before the fire. There is a story that circulates throughout the internet regarding Chapel of Rest, claiming that it's haunted. Story has it that in the early 20s, the preacher of the church caught his wife cheating on him. He was so distraught about the affair that he hung himself from the rafter above the front pew that Saturday night. The congregation found him hanging there when they opened the church the next morning. The story continues on to say that his bloodstain is still on the floor below where he hung himself. We could not find any documentation stating that this claim was true. Eliza Bishop, a member of the chapel board, had stated that this story was untrue. She followed up stating that no one had hanged himself in the chapel and that stains on the floor were from a wood stove that heated the chapel for years.
Recorder up here at where the podium would be. If you want to talk with us here, this will be your chance. So I'm going to place it right here where this red light is, this red or orange light. You could come up to it and speak into it.
We had to do this investigation during the day due to the fact that no one is allowed on the property after evening hours.
sounds like there's raindrops when it's windy. That's kind of what I was hearing on here.
Yep,
The bad part about this is when this is on there.
Kim lays down on the floor where the supposed bloodstain is to see if she can connect with the spirit.
That Bailey saw on her feet. I want to test something for you. Y'all hear it? There's footsteps here right now. I don't know if you hear it out here. Footsteps. They think that it's apparent that someone's out there.
I couldn't tell how many steps you took, but I can tell there was a couple times that you were walking.
There's someone over there lost. What's this? What's this sound? You alright? Oh, and it's footsteps? So those two sounds. Yeah, we were all outside. If you can hear me, and like I said, hey, there's a voice recorder, you know, say anything, whatever, you hear me, open the door and close it, and leave. Sure.
It might have been just feeling
So
popping.
I'm wondering.
Cause it makes loud popping noises.
Voice recording session number 2. As I put it down really loudly. Me walking to sleep.
Those loud ones almost do sound like someone sitting down, now that you just did that.
During our EVP session, we managed to catch some odd breathing. Most of the sounds we debunked during the session by calling out what the sound was created from and marking it within the recorder. I debunked this as Morgan taking a deep breath. However, she stated that even when she does take a deep breath, it doesn't even sound like that. Kim stated this sounded as if it was closer to the recorder than the rest of us. Also, going back through the footage, I noticed a white ball of light floating above Morgan's head, and moments before that she stated she was seeing some kind of object in front of her. However, she was unsure of what it was. Upon further inspection, it appeared to have wings, but I'm not entirely sure. And it is kind of odd that this was the only time this showed up in our footage. And it was all around the same time that we heard these noises on the recorder. So we'll let you take a look and decide.
I am like a skeptic, like Cody says, just I try to play it off in my head, and then I'm like, was that like, was I actually doing something different, or am I?
Well,
being weird?
that's what I felt when I was, like I said, I felt dizzy, but I was like, oh, I'm not gonna say nothing. It just might be me, because I felt like I was doing this in my head.
Yeah.
Not like this, or the world spinning.
That like,
And then I was looking, and it's like almost like a, I don't know, I can't describe it.
like a shadow, but not.
But like if I'm just sitting here staring, which I was doing. Not a shadow.
Now, do you, if I get up and walk back by, do you pay attention to that, see if, because did you feel it again after? Like you reached out, because you reached out a second time, didn't you?
Yeah, but that's when I saw like a piece of dust particle or something floating, and that's when I reached out. I wasn't reaching out for what I saw first.
Yeah.
I saw that, and then I felt like a little breeze.
Because I know very few.
I felt dizzy, but not like crazy world spinning dizzy. And I felt like I saw something, but I can't describe what I saw. It wasn't a shadow. Almost like a, I don't know, I can't describe it.
If you noticed, Morgan tried to explain how she was feeling and that her dizziness was in a circular motion. I just found it odd that the light that we had captured on the camera also did the same type of motion she had described. However, again, this could be easily debunked, and I've decided to leave the footage in due to the oddity of it.
Yeah, she felt the breeze. Yeah, we'll have to look over that for sure. For sure.
And it's hard to be able to recreate something that wasn't there, like, you know, as if I'm walking, but don't exist.
I can't explain what I saw. It wasn't like I saw a figure or even
Like, not an orb, but an orb.
not an orb. Almost like a mist, but not.
Yeah.
Like it was, God, I don't know how to describe it. Because I was kind of in a trance. Like when I was staring off.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I seeing that? Or is it me because I'm dizzy, you know, and I feel. It's weird. And we have yet to hear that loud thump since we've been in here.
At all.
Is there somebody here with us right now?
A spirit box is an audio-only device that rapidly scans through multiple audio channels such as radio stations. It is said to make it relatively easy for spirits to manipulate to say a word or phrase in real time.
With us right now, can you tell me your name?
Is that you that walked by Morgan earlier? Is that you that walked by Morgan earlier? Is that you that walked by Morgan earlier? It sweeps through like a voice like that. I don't know what that was because
Someone said, oh,
when
yeah.
when it hits, when a voice comes through, it's not like it pauses on the station. It's still sweeping through. Alright?
No, I'm just getting chills, like, not chills, like I'm cold, but, you know, when you get excited.
Was that you that breathed in the? What was that? I thought I heard something. Did you breathe into the recorder earlier? Into that red light? It is.
Did you make that big thump sound earlier when no one was in here? Did you make that big thump sound earlier when no one was in here? Did you make that big thump sound earlier when no one was in here? Alright, so it's just me in here. I felt earlier that somebody walked past me, or I felt something. We have all these things set up that you can touch. This might be new to you because I'm sure not a lot of people come up here to do this. But all you have to do is touch it and let me know that you're here. Or I can sit here and you can make a loud sound, knock, walk up through the pews, or sit down with me.
This is the first time I've stepped in here, so.
Well, and I watched when those guys walked out, and he opened it and closed it. It was way, way quiet. I could hear it with my own ears, but it was way quiet.
Yeah, I know
I walked the whole
y'all walked
thing.
around a little bit in
Yep.
here, and
I said what would be cool to do is, you know, you've seen on Facebook here recently, where people come and clean headstones. It'd be kind of cool to come and clean some for them and see. So we could look up some of the names of people that are in here. 1858 to 1922. That's pretty old.
Did y'all feel anything kind of odd in this area? I know you said y'all were like in the back corners a lot.
We were back there because they said that there's maybe a grave site that's just outside the fence.
Mm-hmm.
And we think that possibly the man who potentially hung himself would have been buried out there because it would have been a sin to commit suicide, so they didn't want to bury him in the cemetery with everybody else.
That's what I was hearing too, but.
So we looked, there's a mound of dirt back there, but it's hard to tell with all the foliage growing up whether there's a spot or not. If you walk
Okay.
straight out, there's a pile of rocks in the woods back there as well. Lots of Joneses.
You can, I don't know, it's like, you can definitely feel like the old, like, timey kind of feel into it.
There's a certain smell, like musty.
She's saying it is like an old church smell. She kind Morgan was saying she liked it.
Yeah, like a musty smell. Maybe almost like moldy, but not.
I don't know if it was back here or just more just near the church, but.
If you look, I'm trying to think where we were standing. There's a pile of rocks somewhere. See where the green goes and it stops?
Yep.
Then there's a pile of rocks.
Isn't that kind of odd that this, if you notice when you walk around this property, like it's like this all the way around and then it stops at a certain point
The green?
on the edges, yeah.
You can talk to me.
Maybe you're a member of the Patterson family. If you are and you want to come say hi to us, we're open to hearing you out here. Really just want to hear your story.
I just thought it was interesting that you heard a story earlier about someone being out here in the graveyard. Which that was probably at night, right?
I'm not sure he didn't specify. He said it was a woman's voice saying, hey. He felt it very close to him over his shoulder. Is there any females out here that want to say hi to us?
There's stories that there was a reverend here or a pastor that caught his wife cheating, and he came in here and hung himself. We're just trying to figure out if that is the case. If there's any way you can let us know that you're here by making a noise or touching one of these devices, they light up, and it lets us know that you're here with us. We're not here to do anything, do any harm, we're just here to document.
See if maybe Mrs. Eugene Patterson Jones or Mildred, are y'all here? Seems like you've had a big part to play with this in Fort Defiance, with the restoration.
What was that? I was just trying to block it out to where...
Eugene or Mildred, if that was you trying to say hi to us, try it again.
I even felt that came through. It was like his voice, but I can't make out what he's saying. I heard that was a female trying to talk to somebody. Not sure how long ago that was.
Maybe Margaret or Ruth. Just trying to read some of the female names.
Can you try to speak with us through this device?
Mildred or Margaret or Ruth. Are any of you with us? Maybe Eugenia. What about Katie maybe? Or Kate? Maybe Walter or Ann, are any of y'all with us? Jean or Edmund?
That sounded like a full voice, like through different dip stations.
Eugene or Edmund? Maybe Wilcox or Lewis?
Maybe it's not a creature. If you're not a creature, that's okay too. You can just let me know who is here. By name, or you can tell me if you're male or female.
Did you hear that? What'd it say? I heard, hey. Did you hear that? What'd it say? I heard, hey.
In this moment, we believe we heard someone say, hey, through the spirit box. However, after further review, we believe the spirit to be saying, Rose. You will see why later on this ties within the investigation.
There's someone saying hey to us. Maybe some of the Joneses I just named. Edmund, Wilcox, Jean.
We felt we didn't spend enough time at the location the first day, so we decided to come back a few days later. I took baseline readings of the church with the millimeter. The millimeter is an electromagnetic field meter. It is said when spirits are present, there will be a surge or change in electromagnetic fields and or temperature. Again, with another odd situation. If you remember from the first day, we had got a voice that had come through the spirit box saying Rose. That second day we had come in, there was a rose in the cemetery. What's crazy about this is the voice that we capture later on this day during our investigation.
My thought is that when they dug the mausoleum out, they probably dumped the dirt right here. That's probably why it's so much higher than the rest. But it's hard to say where he would be because you can't see diddly squat because of all the stuff growing up. And there's a pile of rocks that are like straight ahead right here. But when Michael in the middle right there, when Michael and I went around, I couldn't see it again to get to it. Like I went on this side and I was like, where the heck is it? So I couldn't get there. You see right here? There's like a pile of rocks right here. Well, when Michael and I walked up there, then I was looking in the woods and I was like, where the bush is it? And I couldn't like see it to be able to walk to it. And I wasn't gonna like trudge through all this, but we walked up the side of there and like saw where the turned to leaves, but then I couldn't like.
something right there.
Something maybe hole or something.
Something LJ.
See, there's a rock right here too.
You're getting all up in there.
There's another piece of the white right there, straight ahead of you. Oh, maybe it's something like this or something.
There you go.
You want me to record you?
See us in the cemetery? We got probably nothing coming through right now. With the evidence that we collected over at Chapel of Rest, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's definitely interesting. I wouldn't say I'm 100% believer yet. I'm still skeptic.
Yeah, I'd probably say that. I'm still skeptic too. It was just weird that there were some odd things that had happened.
I couldn't make that up.
I guess this isn't enough to put you on that side yet. You're still more of a full-on skeptic.
Sorry, that was a little hard to understand. Could you try to say that again?
Well, at first going into there, it didn't really seem what I anticipated from the stories. I thought that it would be more of like an eerie feeling being there, or that there would just be more of like a presence in the air, kind of, I guess, if you will. And that's not the vibe that we got going in there, I don't feel like. Calm and peaceful place. However, we were there during the day. And then being out in the cemetery was kind of fun. Being able to read some of the names and hearing some stuff on the spirit box through the static. And trying to just find some information about all the different tales we had been told about the place was really pretty cool. I think overall, I feel like there probably is something there. Well, I have previous experience from my childhood, just one thing in particular. So, like, I definitely believe that something is there. And I am the first person to try to explain stuff away. You know, the wind was blowing or whatever it might be. But I think that at Chapel of Rest, one of the things that really kind of struck me was watching Morgan, like, reach out to try to touch something or whatever she was feeling that she needed to reach out at that time. And then whenever I was asking her about it later and I walked by her and I could kind of see like the light bulb go off in her head, like that was the exact same thing that she felt, was like the wind of me walking by. And that kind of was like, oh gosh, like how did that happen? You know, that's kind of a particular, you know, motion that happens. It's not like the wind blew, we kind of felt of the window to see if that was the case. And you know, it was a windy day that day, but we didn't find that anything was coming in through the window.
Yeah, there was no drafts in that place.
Yeah, and it was kind of like I could just see in Morgan's face when I walked by her, and she kind of felt that, like, you know, backdraft of me, kind of, that her eyes kind of widened, like, oh gosh, that's a replica of what I kind of felt before. And it was like, oh, okay.
guys, this is Cody Price with Line Paranormal. I just want to make a quick clip for y'all here at the end to let you know about our Patreon. Don't worry about this setup. This is actually a part of my Twitch TV setup. I do a bit of gaming on the side and live streaming. Not a whole lot of paranormal right now, but I do want to later on be able to stream, you know, like maybe talk about some locations or some experiences you've had, maybe go back through the videos or something. But other than that, like I said, just you can come check me out if you want to, Twitch TV / Blue Line Parabellum. But anyways, back to the main point of this video. We wanted to let y'all know that we have a Patreon up, and it's probably going to be around like the $3 or $4 mark to get monthly content as far as like pictures and behind the scenes stuff. It just depends on how active we are as far as going to locations, so we'll probably set it to a pretty cheap amount. But with the Patreon, it's going to help support us because this is our money, our time, you know, to basically do our investigations, but also give content back to y'all as far as where we go. And like I said, it's going to help us a lot as far as like help support us, you know, get equipment to make the investigations better, hopefully make our videos higher quality. Like I said, this first video is more of a rough draft, but hopefully they get better over time. We're not really going to hire anyone outside of our group to make these videos. So like I said, it's our money, our time. So again, that will help us out a lot. And is, you know, with the Patreon, we're going to have Patreon credits at the end of each video. So if you supported us within, you know, that time's worth of us making before we get that video out, your name's going to be at the end of the video in our credit reel. So that's going to be, you know, basically our thank you to you. And hopefully y'all enjoyed this first episode. The next one's going to be Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. So we are excited. Hopefully y'all are as well. And yeah, it's going to be great. So we'll see you next time. Take care.